Homesteader family, welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. Let me fix this tripod. So, it's been a busy week. If I sound a little bit snotty, it's because I mowed the yard today and it's that time of year that things are changing. Unlike the issues I had in Colorado with my allergies, I only have the allergy issues here going from winter into spring and then from summer into fall here. So I took my first allergy pill since spring time, like February, March time period. So it's helping some, but I still feel really blocked up and snotty right now. I also, my stomach like twisted like hour and a half, 2 hours ago after I woke up and feeling a little bit nauseous. So I was sitting here sipping on orange juice and then of course make a little bit of coffee right now to try to see if something settles my stomach out. Luckily, nothing will come up because very rarely do I get that sick. When I am that sick, that happens, but very rare do I have to upchuck. Anyhow, this week has been busy. The weather here has changed. It's ping pong, back and forth all over the place. One day we have humidity that's 40 some degrees. Then we had one day that it went up to 92. Then one day it was 81. Then it was down to 67. And it's just bouncing all back and forth. The temperature's going up. It's going down. Next week we're supposed to be down in the 70s, and then nighttime's down in the low 50s. So it's nice the AC units aren't running 24/7 like they were. However, with all the weather changes, it's changing the pollen and all that, and that's what's getting to my head. So it's going to be a little bit of rough probably for next month, and then I'll be back to Arkansas living, not suffering. Like I said, definitely better than Colorado, where I suffered almost year-round in Colorado, except dead winter, which is like 7 months a year up at the elevation I was at. But this week, what I got accomplished, I got the yard mowed here today. I ripped a chimney apart outside. I rebuilt the chimney, resealed it. I didn't properly do the chimney last year. Last year. Whenever I put the wood stove in. I didn't properly do everything I needed to do because I didn't have the money at the time. So I'm fixing the problems now. You can see over there now, the fireplace isn't hooked up. I got new pipe sitting right there next to the freezer over by that table. I've got to get my angle grinder. Got to cover my face. We don't want another homestead accident. But I'm going to need to take the angle grinder because last year the pipe that I had there, which I transferred this pipe in here to outside to make my chimney taller. So there's a better draw. But it was too tall. So my inside pipe was leaning downward. So it was hard to get a fire started. The smoke wanted to back up into the restaurant. Of course, I got carbon monoxide detector and all that stuff in here. So I didn't have that worry. However, I want to get that taken care of the right way. So I got extra pipe. I'm going to get my angle grinder, cut that. I'll fix that up probably sometime this week. I've got to go in the shed. The shed's filled with all the mouse stuff. So I really don't want to go digging through that, but I need to get my angle grinder. The rest of my tools are here, but somehow the angle grinder is still somewhere in the shed. Got the house in Marshall. I got the yard mowed out there. Like I said, mowed yard here. I did a load of firewood. So firewood is almost completely filled. I can do one more pickup truck load, and then I'll be stacked to the max here. And then, of course, it's not like Colorado. So what I do throughout the winter is when I get down to about half stack, then I go and get another load or two of firewood. Now, for those of you thinking, the wood's going to be green. So the firewood I use, it's not wood you have to split. I'm doing the same thing I did in Colorado, except out here it's hardwood, so I have to go smaller. So all the small trees that are only, a couple inches thick that I'm clearing anyhow, instead of wasting that, I'm using the log part of it, the trunk of it, and I cut it up into firewood. I cut them into 4 to 6 foot pieces. I stack them in piles along Purdom Lane throughout the homestead. And then just like now, I'm going back and I'm cutting all that up. So the wood's been sitting there for over a year. And then, of course, this winter, as I clear more woods this winter, then I'll have more wood stacked up for next year that I'll use next year. So we'll have an entire year to cure. And being so small, cutting it into pieces, it's still maybe a hair bit green, but not too green where it doesn't burn good. So I have plenty of firewood, and like I said, we don't get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of snow here, so I don't have to worry about all my wood being underneath snow trying to find where my wood piles are. I can go out throughout the winter, get a pickup truck load, fill up over here, and I'm set to go. In case we do get a foot dropping like we have, then I'm good for about a month and a half or so. Winter's not that long here, so it's not that big of a headache. I also did some more weed eating and some stuff over at the homestead, and then basically in between a couple days of rain and then the hot days, even though we're in the low 90s now and now upper 80s, it's still just too hot for me. So I went over when I was cutting firewood. It was nice. 11:30, 12 o'clock, the sun popped out. Got super hot. Ticks came out. I had like 11 or 12 seed ticks crawling on me. I didn't spray with permethrin because if you go out when it's moist in the morning and it's cold, the ticks tend not to be active. But we're not into fall and winter yet. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to for fall and winter is I don't have to worry about all the ticks, the flies. The horse flies are really bad right now. But, did what I could. Winter's coming, DT. Maybe not for some of us that live like in Georgia where it stays warm or semi-warm. I can't say that because when I lived down in Florida, it snowed in Florida when I moved to Florida. So, like I said, winter follows me. So it snowed south of Tampa. When I went there, come here, they get some deep snows. Colorado, they've always had snows. But yeah, winter's coming. It's on its way. So I've got some really, really exciting news. I'm not going to talk about all the details. And then I'll get into tonight's topic as long as I don't start getting too snotty or my stomach starts twisting again. But I had talked about I'm going to try to save up money for December to try to get some dozing work done, the excavation work. I was trying to figure out, do I do ponds? Do I do my water hole? Do I do today's Homesteader Lane? Do I do the house site? Do I do the road going to house site? So something happened. I'm not going to talk about what happened. I'm not going to go into all details yet. I'm not going to tell you when all this is happening. It's going to be a little bit of a mystery because I want to wait till everything is happening. And then I'll be doing, I'll have to do some edit videos because we all know my phone does not do good live streams at the homestead. I've had a lot of people complain about that. So I won't do live streams at the homestead, which means I'm going to have to actually sit down and start working on the editing stuff for my videos so I can get back to doing edit videos where I have the beginning and end that I can just drop in with the video, add some music. It's not going to be fancy cinema like all these other big channels that like Home Free Alaska, Home Appalachia's Homestead with Patera, those channels that I watch all the time, Boss of the Swamp, they do very good editing. I watch their videos. Mine won't be anything like that, but I will have better than the live stream where the video's fuzzy. You can't make out if it's a camel, a shadow, or a groundhog walking across the yard, and things like that. So, some things have happened. Some things have changed. The whole rest of this year is all changing. So, some point at the end of this month, I don't know 100% when, but it is going to happen. It might be the first part of next month. But as of right now, from what I've been told, unless his job order gets changed, I will have a dozer and excavator on the homestead at the end of this month. Like I said, if his job order gets changed, it might be first part next month. I am not renting. I know I talked about that a bunch of times. I found someone local that out of all the people I've called, all the people said they're going to show up to give me a quote. Nobody ever did. Not one single person. This person did. It was a week later. He told me he would call me so-and-so date. He called me at that date. Showed up at the homestead when he said he was going to show up homestead. Went through, looked at everything, gave me an idea, and I'm going to go with him. So it's a family, a local family here. And so I have him scheduled. $2,000 burned. So $2,000 is going towards the dozing and excavation. He charges a lower fee for the dozer, higher fee for excavator. So I'm not sure exactly how much work I'm going to end up getting done for the 2,000. But we're going to find out, you know, if they do an amazing job, which I think they will because I've seen a bunch of their work because I drive by their house all the time. Then when I have more money, I'll have them do more, have more money, have them do more, so on and so forth. Because we all know I've got big ponds to put in across the homestead. I've got my watering hole, swimming hole, big pool in the back I want to do. I want to do the road to the house, today's Homesteader Lane. There's so much stuff I want to do. I'm not clearing the woods. I don't want to clear the woods, but I do have a lot of work that I need excavator and dozer for. I also might be looking at doing the big hooger culture beds like I did in Colorado at the ranch, where I did that 60-foot or 120-foot, whatever, how long that hooger culture bed, flower bed garden was. So with him having the big excavator, have him come dig the trenches, I can fill it with logs, got hooger culture going into place. But anyhow, I have decided 100% I'm going to have him do the road from Purdom Lane up to my house site and clear my house site and give me my pad. So that's what this $2,000 is going to go for. It's still going to be rough driving back and forth across today's Homesteader Lane. However, I've talked to Steve, I've talked to my grandparents, talked to some of you guys that I talk to on the phone on a regular basis, and decided that, you know, it's only a couple $100 to buy the wire panels, like these cattle panels, but it's going to be more heavy-duty panels to work on my house. And since the house is going to take a year to 2 years to build, because I can't, you know, put 8-10-hour days in, it's just going to be here and there, here and there. But then that way I can buy wire panels while I save up money for more dozing work, more excavation work, and build my house over the next couple years. Because like I said, I'm still waiting for Colorado to sell. So as soon as Colorado sells, then I'll have the full money to go head over heels into the homestead and get everything done. But yeah, so the dozing excavator will be on the homestead. I will get some footage of that. I'll video some before, some after. I'm super stoked, super excited because we all know I cleared the road, you know, with chainsaw clippers and loppers and sawzall, trying to, you know, just walk up and down the mountainside. But he's going to come in, pull all the root balls. He's going to grade it. It's going to be good. So it's going to be exciting. And then, of course, when I get the house pad in, it's going to be like, man, I just want to hit the ground running. So getting really, really excited about that. Also, for those of you that remember what was going on legally before that I've talked about in some of my videos, I now have the money. I went ahead, I hired an attorney. So I just went and did its $5,000 retainer fee. So just got that paid to the lawyer. So the lawyer is going to be pursuing the case that I've talked about before. I'm not going to go in all that again, but I'll let you know how all that turns out. So this week, it's been a lot of progress and a lot of money spent. However, things are going to progress forward, and I'm just really excited. I'm out of words because I'm just like, just picturing the road going to the house, picturing the pad sitting there, and picturing me building the house, and then the house there, and then the roof on it, and then the stove or fireplace put in. However, I decide to do that, I still don't know. I know I got a lot of fire people. They want to know if I'm doing a barrel stove like I did in Colorado, if I'm going to build it into the ground, kind of like Colorado. Am I going to do a wood stove? Am I going to do my lodge fireplace that I really like, that, a big circle with a chimney that goes up and, so the heat goes and radiates off the pipes and stuff? I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. But just knowing that's happening this month, just knowing that the money's paid, knowing that progress is going to happen, it is just exciting because I've been here 3 years and I haven't been able to afford it yet. So I finally got it. I'm getting it going. It's not everything I want, but we're going to get there. So that's where I am for this week. The accomplishments, things I got done. This upcoming week, I have the quorum court meeting for Searcy County. For those of you that watched the last video I did, I'll be going filming that for the county, so the community can see what's going on for those that work or the elderly that are sick or can't make it to it. That's my way in my community to give back, is by driving out there, film it for them, and be able to do that. I did get a Bluetooth speaker with microphone and all that. I'm going to try to get all that set up so the justices of the peace can talk into microphone so everybody can hear. As you probably saw in that video, the judge had to calm everybody down because people kept yelling out, they couldn't hear. So I want to try to make that better for the community, make it better, for my video, for people watching, that they can hear everything going on. Because, it's hard just in the bench seats, let alone, on camera. But I'm going to try to get that taken care of. That will come out a couple days after tomorrow. Tomorrow's the second Monday of the month. That's when the quorum court is. Then it takes me a couple days. The last video took like 18 hours to upload because it's over an hour long. I'll have to mow the yard again. I'm going to try to get the last load of firewood. I know we do have at least 1 day of rain. They keep going back from 1 day to 4 days of rain. We're supposed to get 1 day that was supposed to go all the way down to 64 as the high for the day. But now it looks like it's going to be 72. But then again, the weather people, they never know. They change every day. So depending on the weather, I'm going to try to get the firewood. I'm going to try to do some more weed eating and trimming. And then if the weather does get down into the low 70s like they're talking about, then I'm going to try to spend a couple half days, maybe 3/4 days, till, like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon when it starts to really get hot, and try to start clearing an alleyway where I'm going to split the new pen in half, start clearing the trees, start clearing the brush, and get my line through. And then I need to get the measuring wheel. I need to measure out every 100 feet to find out how many posts I need for the H braces in between the stretches of fence. And then next month, because unfortunately Colorado still hasn't paid me, he's working on that right now, but I don't have the money from Colorado right now, so that's hampering the fence money. But hopefully he'll get that taken care of in this next week. And then next month, I'm going to go ahead and order all the other fence material I need. And then next month, I'm going to be just grinding away on the fence. Of course, like I said, and this month, the dozer excavator will be here too. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff coming up. And then going into this winter, if everything goes the way it looks like it's going, because everything was plummeting down and slowing down, and now everything's like off to races. I got the lawyer doing their thing. The dozer excavator guy's going to be doing his thing. Steve's going to be doing some garden beds and figuring out where we're going to do the orchard and get all that mapped out this winter. I'm going to have the new pen to do this winter. I'm going to have the house site to start working on, at least get 4 panels to at least say, here's the cornerstone of the house, and be able to start working on the house. I'm going to go get a bunch more of the big heavy duty trucker tarps. I'm going to make several more A-frames, shelters for the animals, because I don't have enough money to build an entire barn right now, but I want to give them more shelter, so I'm going to get that taken care of. So there's going to be a lot more stuff happening, a lot more things coming up through the end of this year. And then next year, if everything continues at this rapid pace that is starting to pick up, and then of course if the ranch sells in Colorado, then we'll definitely be off to the races. So, to the title of the video, since I know everybody's trying to figure out what I'm talking about now, like, do I have regrets about Arkansas? Am I talking about regrets in Colorado? My bad decisions? The property I bought, properties I purchased, things I've done? Well, the regrets are, everybody says you shouldn't have regrets. And that's like the whole horseshoes and rainbows with homesteading. Everybody says, you know, on their channels, homesteading's all horseshoes and rainbows, or unicorns and rainbows. See, I got horseshoes on my mind because I got one of you from Boston coming out here, and I already got horseshoes on the mind to play horseshoes. However, everybody tries to make everything happy and hunky-dory, which I do. I don't talk about a lot of the bad stuff I go through. But the regrets are what happens in life. Regrets are part of bad decisions, good decisions, mediocre decisions. And it's something everybody says you shouldn't have any regrets. But I'll tell you, I know, yes, I'm an alien, but I'm sure a lot of you humans out there think the way I think, that you sit there and go, man, I wish I would have bought that house. Or, man, I wish I would have bought that car or that stock. Or I wish I would have moved here, or I wish I would have moved there. And even though you're happy where you went, you still think of all these things. That's a regret. You can sugarcoat it. You can try to say it's not a regret. It's just your thought pattern, but it's a regret. It's part of life. Without those regrets, you don't look at other case scenarios. You don't look at where you could have been, where you are, where thank God we didn't go, and so on and so forth. Same thing with good decisions, bad decisions. Without the good decisions, you know, we wouldn't have the top of the roller coaster where everything's hunky-dory. Without the bad decisions, we wouldn't be leveled out, humbled, and taught, hey, you need to change what you're doing to get back up here. And these are things that, as I'm thinking with people wanting to get into homesteading and everybody stressing out right now, I just saw a thing on the news that they said living independent, living off grid, and living outside of society are the number one search right now on Google and all the different things. There's record numbers of people trying to get out of society, back to communities, out of cities, into the country, out of bad decisions into good decisions. And I want you to think about something totally off the wall that I haven't talked about. But how many of you wish you still had your second vehicle you ever purchased? Or your second place you went to rent? Or that t-shirt you bought when you were 19? We don't think about those things. And if you look at the boomers, like my great-grandparents, and you look at your grandparents and your parents and so on and so forth, a lot of people regret one big thing throughout life, and that is not enjoying it. They go to that 9 to 5 job, like I've talked about a million times, and they waste their entire life doing something they don't enjoy, doing something that doesn't give them freedom. And if you ask any of the boomers and elders, what's the one thing that always holds for everybody? Their home. So we shouldn't be focused on all the material things, the new fancy car, the new sneakers, the newest iPhone, newest computer, things like that. You need to realize in all these generations, the only thing that really mattered was their home. So you should focus all your energy and time into your home, making your home a home, not a house. Because I'll tell you, they didn't keep their t-shirts they bought when they were 19. They didn't keep their car, their second car that they purchased. They didn't keep their third pair of shoes. It was their home that they stayed in. Now, yes, they moved. I've moved a lot. We know how many times this journey has started over. But just like this restaurant, I was here for over a year. And what happened? I started getting into that funk, into that depression, and realizing that I wasn't happy. Why? Because I was focused on a dream. I wasn't focused on reality, on my home. The homestead's a reality, but it's not a reality that can come to fruition in the next 6 months. It's going to be years out, because even if Colorado sells right now and I get paid for Colorado, I can't build a house in 6 months. I can't move everything in 6 months. I can't have a home in 6 months. But what I could do was rearrange this, set up kitchen table and chairs, redo the plumbing, redo a little bit the electric, hook up propane for the stove so I can cook meals, so I can have dishes, which I hate doing, by the way. That's the only good thing about paper and plastic. You can just toss it away. But drinking out styrofoam cups sucked. I like having my mugs. But that's the one big regret that everybody talks about when they get older, is the loss of their life. And everybody that is 50 or older, and even Steve tells me that as you get older, time flies by. For me, time doesn't fly by. But then again, Steve's older. He's up in his 40s. I'm only 36. But everybody 50 and above, that's what they tell you, that life flies by. Years are like weeks when you get older. And before you know it, your life's gone. And that's the number one regret, is not living life. And my thing is, in that life you have, build yourself a home. Focus on the home. That's the only thing that goes with every generation. Like my grandfather, your grandfathers, your grandmothers. Do they want to go to a nursing home? No. They want to be home. They want to be where the heart is. The heart is where the home is. That's what we need to focus on. If you want to work that 9 to 5 job and waste your life and then have that regret later down the road, then that's what you got to do. You're just going to be another number, another grandparent talking about how they wasted their life doing something that has no purpose. Just like that t-shirt that you bought when you were 19. How much time did it take for that t-shirt? Because you worked McDonald's, mowing yards, whatever, to have that new t-shirt that your parents wouldn't buy you. That name brand shirt that was 3 times the cost of one at Walmart. And you wasted how much time of your life putting into a job to get the money to put on the shirt that you don't even own anymore. But if you take that money and your time for the next couple years and you focus on a home, your home's probably going to be with you forever. It's another way of thinking. It's another way of realizing that your cars don't mean nothing. And in reality, if you want to think even long term, your home doesn't mean anything. Because when you're gone, it's gone. Look at people 500 years ago. Do we have anything of theirs? Not really. I mean, you have some crown jewels and things like that, but houses go away, clothing goes away, dishes go away, paintings go away. In the long term, you just need to find that happiness. You need to find piece of land. You need to find some peace of mind. You need to find that happiness. And you need to find a purpose. Like I always say, if you don't have a purpose, then all you do is lay on the couch, wrapped up in blankets, watching TV. And then once again, we're back to the beginning. You're wasting your life away, whether it's on a couch or in an office. You've got to get out. You got to get motivated. You got to homestead. You got to do your train collection. You got to do your coin collection, your stamp collection, your bird watching. In Colorado, there's a lot of people on with that go and they hike all the 14ers. They take a piece of cardboard, write how the elevation, the date, and the name of the mountaintop, and that's their purpose. They go out and they conquer a new mountain. That's living life. That's doing something with your life that you enjoy. Because like I said, if you get 100 years on this planet, you're really, really lucky. How many people are disappearing from this planet at a rapid rate at a younger and younger age? I don't see people getting older and older. I see people getting younger and younger. My great-grandfather right here, I believe he was 89 when he passed. And I don't think I've talked about this. He's my number one regret in this world. Because one year I went back to Maryland. I was doing, I think, a moving job. And both of them wanted to see me. I was tired. I had a plane to catch. The airport, BWI, was like 3.5 miles from their house. And I didn't take the time to stop and see them. I talked to them on the phone. They really wanted me to come up. I had plenty of time, but I'm like, I just wanted to get to airport. I put my headphones on, laid in the chair, took a nap before the flight when I could have went and spent time. And unfortunately, like a month later, he passed away. That's my number one regret. That's where I'm talking about time. We only have so much time on this planet. So if you have a loved one, if you've got great-grandparents, like I was lucky enough to have on my mom's side and my dad's side, spend that time wisely. You never know when it goes. Same thing with moms, dads, brothers, sisters, cousins. If you have a close bond, you never know. Car accidents, freak accidents, animal attacks, burglaries. You never know what could change in a blink of an eye. And how many people do you see on social media sit there and talk about their bad decision of not spending enough time and their regret of, I wish I would have told my mom this, or I wish I would have told my dad this, or I wish I told my grandparents this. I wish I would have went and seen them. I'm another one. I'm just another number. That's another number. That's all we are, numbers in this world. But we get to choose who we spend our time on. Do you spend an hour on somebody negative and waste that hour? Or do you spend that hour on somebody positive that brings you happiness? That's how you got to look at it. When you see your phone ringing, yep, I go like that because I'm entering the boomer age. We didn't do this. We went like that. Um, when somebody calls and you have caller ID now, where we didn't back in the day when I was a kid growing up, and you see that person's name on your phone, and it's nothing but drama, nothing but problems, do you pick up the phone? If you do, learn to let it go. If you see somebody calling and it's your mom and you have a great relationship with your mom, but you don't feel like talking and you're sitting on the couch because you've had a rough day, you might want to reconsider picking up that phone. Because one day, that phone won't ring. Or one day, that phone will ring and it's going to be bad news. And then you're going to be another number. I wish I would have picked up that phone. Why didn't I pick up the phone? I wish I could have talked to my mom that one last time. These are the things we need to be thinking about. That's another good reason why you should homestead. It gets you out of the cities. It gets you away from concrete. It gets you out into nature. Something that I think everybody's soul, whether you like animals or hate animals. My grandfather, not my great-grandfather, my grandfather that came to live with me in Colorado, hated animals. But when Minnie had her one litter, he played with the puppies. If you recall, in some of my videos, he pet goats sitting on the dam of the pond, drinking his cream soda when we used to sit out there and drink cream sodas. For somebody that hated animals, which of course he had dementia and sundowners and all that, so he probably wasn't in the right frame of mind. But he had happiness during that time of animal interaction. My grandparents up in Colorado that I still talk to, they're the only ones in my family I still talk to. Because of the drama, because of the BS and everything else, I cut that out of my life. But my mama tells me, she's mentioned it several times throughout the years about how ecstatic my grandfather was because he got to see a bear on his birthday in Colorado. And that was a highlight of the time that he was in Colorado, was that bear. And, you know, he could care less about animals prior to all this. But being out in Colorado, in that fresh air, not down his moldy, nasty, hoarder infested basement, which I have videos of all that. I'm not making it public. Some of my friends have seen the videos. Dead mice and everything. To get out of that and into the fresh air of Colorado to be around nature, it totally changed him. My grandfather's best friend Stan would talk to him. And when he first got out there, it was so hard, you know, talking to him on the phone or whatever, because my grandfather mentally wasn't there. But over, I want to say, a month and a half, 2 months, he came around and he got so much better. We were out shooting pool. We were going down to the Salida Riverwalk, drinking cream sodas out on the bench. That was my grandfather's wish, was he wanted to shoot pool every Wednesday when he was able to. I've got videos. If you go back, you can see we shot pool. He liked playing the candy machine. How he would win. And this is one memory that sticks with me. So there's the claw thing that goes out. It picks up candy. And you get like 2 or 3 tries, but it at least lets you have one candy. He got like 4 or 5 candies, and I only got one. And he started hooping and hollering. He was so excited that he won all that candy. Didn't like any of the candy, but he beat me. He got more candy than me. And so pool was one of his big things. And then cream soda. When I was a little kid, he used to bring glass bottles of cream soda up to Christmas and my birthday and stuff like that because he knew I like cream soda. And he stopped drinking cream soda for whatever reason. He drank Pepsi. You know he was mentally disturbed there when he drinks Pepsi and not Coke. And that was difficult enough having him move in with me, let alone I had to make room in my fridge for Pepsi because he had to have his Pepsi. But we went and enjoyed drinking cream soda. And then, of course, some of you have mentioned throughout the years about the hot springs. He didn't know how to swim. He was terrified when we first went to hot springs. He had the fear of drowning. But then I posted video or not videos because kids and stuff like that I'm not gonna film. But I did take pictures of him in the water and stuff like that and post those. And that was one of his other favorite things. So and then going to the steakhouse. So they were the like 4 top things he always wanted to do. And then we also sat on the dam out by the pond all the time and just took in the goats walking around, things like that. But that's what I'm talking about. You know, I could have let him go into a nursing home, threw him to the side, and forgot about him. And then get a call like they were saying they were giving him like 3.5 weeks. Or take the time to lose almost a year of my life. But in that year of losing my life, I found better life. And that's the decisions that we make, whether good or bad, reflects on your regrets. Now you can look back and say, well, if he went into a nursing home, look at all the other things I could have done in that year with my life, with the homestead and everything like that. But then, if I went that way and had my homestead built on the ranch, look at where the ranch turned out. People ask me all the time, do I regret buying the ranch? Yes, I regret buying the ranch, but no, I don't regret buying the ranch. And you may be wondering, well, how can it be both? Well, I don't regret buying the ranch because that was some of the best times in my life when I got the camels, when I got the other animals. To see the camels up on the mountaintops and you pull into the driveway from coming from town, dealing with stupid people in the road, to seeing your camels walking across the top of the mountains. I'll never have that again. Definitely not here in Arkansas because of all the trees. I would have to clear cut everything. And I definitely don't want to do that. The lack of seeing houses from the camper trailer and being able to look 360 degrees around and not see a single house, that was amazing. How quiet it was. How peaceful the deep snows were, where you didn't hear nothing when we had 4, 5, 6 feet of snow out there. Just the wind breezing. Why do I regret buying it? Because of all the headaches I went through. However, without buying the ranch, I wouldn't be here in Arkansas. If my neighbors didn't move from my house that I built, I'm not sure exactly which way that would have went. But because my mom and Paul went to Kansas and I had the pot growers down below me, that ruined the south side of Cotopaxi. I lived on the south side of Cotopaxi from 2011 to 2008, 7 years. I had the best neighbors in the world. Steve lived down below me. That moved out here. I had Roger and Shar. Roger's the one that did my solar. For those of you that remember any of that, like I said, unfortunately, I didn't film all that. I had my mom and Paul right next door. I had Lynn and Linda down below me on the other side. I had everybody from the firehouse, Steve, Linda, Elena, and several other people. We all played poker. I had a weekly purpose to go play poker. I was working on the 2.5 acres to get it all fenced. And then remember, I did my fence dance and tore all the fencing down to move to the ranch. But you never know where life's going to take you, and you never know what the purpose is. You know, my mom and Paul moved to Kansas, which made me find a new property, which ended up leading me here to Arkansas. There's a reason I'm here in Arkansas. Like I said, everything for me meshes, everything mirrors everything. Like the ranch. The ranch was on County Road 16. The homestead out here is County Road 16. It's called Moscow Love Road, but if you look on the maps, it's County Road 16. I didn't know it was County Road 16, but that's where the mirroring effect happens. Things happen for me, like I said. I have some of the worst luck, but I also have some of the best luck. It's all in decisions. I've made some very bad decisions in my life. I've made some very good decisions in life. You've made some very bad decisions in your life. You made some very good decisions in your life. None of us will leave this planet without regrets. No matter how much you sugarcoat it, try to make it into unicorns and rainbows, nobody's leaving this planet without making a bad decision. Nobody's leaving this planet without making a good decision. And nobody's leaving this planet until it's their time. But when we leave this planet, when it's our time, what are you going to think? What are your regrets? What do you wish you changed? Life is short. Life is rough. Things are getting rough for a lot of people. I highly recommend you at least save up if you're staying at your 9-to-5 job and buy 5 acres out in the middle of the woods. If it's a 4-hour drive from your house where you can afford 5 acres, do it. 25 grand. Most people make that in a year now with what money costs or what people are being paid, like $15 at McDonald's an hour. Save up money, buy a piece of land. If you only buy an acre land, just buy an acre land and check to make sure you can at least camp on your land. Unlike, Fremont County, Colorado, you can only camp on your land for so many days a year and so many days consecutively. But take a month, take a week, take a weekend. Go out and camp on your property. Camp out in nature. If you're not in a fire zone like Colorado, where you can't do open burning, have a bonfire. Sit in front of the bonfire. Take some s'mores, marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate. Look at the stars. Take in the fresh air. Leave your phone in your car. Leave your tablet in the car. Disconnect from society and reconnect with the world. These are just some decisions you might want to think about and some regrets I'm trying to save you and me from having in the future. So with that, I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Thank you for all the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys. And like I said, I've got a lot coming up the end of this month. Rest of this year, it's going to get cracking. And we're going to see where this journey takes us, because you never know where today's homesteader is going to be tomorrow. With that, I hope everybody has a great night. I hope everybody has a great week. And remember, like always, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. I'll see you guys on the next video.